Okay, you're not going to believe this. President Obama, out of all people, is accusing Republicans of stealing the election and sabotaging the entire Constitution. You won't believe it.
There are going to be times, potentially, when one side tries to stack the deck and lock in a, a permanent,
He can't even get the lie out.
either by actively suppressing votes or politicizing the armed forces or using the judiciary, the criminal justice system to go after opponents. And in those circumstances, pluralism does not call for us to just stand back and say, well, I'm not sure. That's okay. In those circumstances, a line has been crossed, and we have to stand firm.
So Obama, in case you don't know this, he is saying on this that there's one side that is, you know, manipulating the election by taking control of the armed forces and the DOJ, which I thought that was pretty much what happens when you win an election. You get control of those two things. But he's saying that we somehow weaponize the DOJ and the armed forces against Democrats to win the election, which I don't really understand how, because the Bidens didn't face any charges except their son. So that entire statement itself is a contradiction. And he goes on stage. He appears to be a bitter man because Obama wanted his next term. He was robbed, in his opinion, of another term from the United States of America. I mean, truthfully, what is the point of him standing behind the Obama Foundation to make an update, give an update to America as if he's the president? It really looks like he was the one that lost the election. Who was waiting on him to give a response to losing the election? Who was waiting on his opinion? Who died and said Obama is the indefinite leader of the Democrat Party? Because that's what it looks like. He comes out and speaks for the entire Democrat Party, as you can see the image that I had pop up above my head in the beginning, as the Democrat Party is ready to move on. We see tech conglomerates such as Mark Zuckerberg and Jeffrey Bezos bend the knee to Trump. We see Zelensky and Putin bend the knee to Trump. We're seeing everyone bend the knee to Trump but Obama, because he appears to be bitter that he's losing some of his income that he gained from having his people in the White House, because he's more bitter than any other Democrat. And he's now just like a bitter, sore loser. I mean, remember the things they called Republicans? Like a sore loser, he's going out claiming that it was stolen from him because big bad Barry Soetoro can't get his way. Bro, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, man, that this man can go around and pout like a baby when he didn't even lose the election. Well, he lost some time because Obama was the one that was out at every single scenario where Harris was. He toured with her more than any other politician. Obama was seen at over 14 Harris rallies. That is insane. Do you know how many he did with Joe Biden? About 3 to 4. So he fought like hell to win this election. And he's bitter. And I ain't gonna lie to you, unfortunately, it feels good to see Obama bitter.
Have to acknowledge that we all have multiple identities. I am a 63-year-old African-American man, for example, but I am also a husband.
You're definitely African American.
I am a father. I am a Christian who is constantly wrestling with his doubts about organized religion.
I thought he was Muslim. Obama's a Christian. I don't know Obama being a Christian. I mean, look at that face. It looks like the devil itself. I mean, this dude has no... He takes no responsibility for telling lies to people. They say you can tell a lie with a straight face, you're good, but shit, apparently Obama can't, because he looks something like Jekyll and Hyde experiment right here at this when he's telling his lie.
I am a writer. I'm a Bears fan, which
Hurry
is
up
not
and talk.
easy. I don't understand how we got so toxic.
So this edit right here, I just threw this in there, and it actually just caught me off guard that I did this. This right here is when Obama came out and was claiming he don't understand how we got so toxic. And it really is a filter that shows what he really looks like. So out of all people, he's the same person that's claiming that Republicans stole the election. This is the same individual last month claiming, I don't understand how we got so toxic and divided. Ignoring the fact that he pushed rhetoric like he just now did, claiming we steal elections. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. If you guys haven't seen the original video will be playing shortly after this one. But this is what Obama looks like without the filter.
And just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, it's all a circus out there. I get that. I don't understand
So
how
there
we
it
got
is.
so toxic
That's
and
it.
just.
That's it right there. So yeah, he's the man that's claiming he don't understand how America got so toxic. It's because of him. He pushes this divisive rhetoric anytime that he feels threatened in his position of power. And after pushing this horse wash, he somehow comes and tells the American people he don't understand how we got so divided and toxic. He is the great divider in chief. People underestimate how damaging he was to human culture, not just America. This is the only president that told African nations, which he come from, that he would be pulling their funds from the education system if they didn't embrace the LGBT ideologies. It's an evil person that's a slick talker, and out of anyone that deserves 34 count felony counts, it's Barack Obama. He deserves every single felony account that you could give Trump tenfold. If people could take the time to understand how BLM, Antifa, Me Too, movements that appeared to start from a great cause, actually in turn just be political ploys for people like Obama. All of these divisive organizations somehow gained birth and wings during Obama. And this war started when Obama sat here and said, if I had a child son, he would look like Trayvon. He intentionally created division in America and made us feel as if we were 80 years outside of our time. Because when the president of the United States says it's true, it's a whole lot more believable. And he was aware of that. And he weaponized his power.
So divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, it's all a circus out there. I get that.
And so for those that don't know, this is the person that says we are rigging elections, right? So I just thought it was brilliant to include the fact that George Clooney literally earlier this week, claims that Obama influenced him, somewhat forced him to push Joe Biden out the White House when he made that post saying that it's time to move on. Not just a rumor. No, this came out of George Clooney's mouth himself, and I covered it in a recent video. It's one of my best performing ones of this week. And come to find out, Clooney was pressured by Obama to make a post about Joe Biden to drop out the race, which is the same thing that happened to Elizabeth Warren when she dominated Michael Bloomberg on the debate stage. I don't know if people remember. Elizabeth Warren dominated Michael Bloomberg. After dominating Michael Bloomberg, she dropped out because she had a visit from Barack Hussein Obama in her trailer. Very similar. He makes the call, people execute. So if he's claiming that elections are rigged, he has to speak for Bernie Sanders' election. He has to speak for Joe Biden wanting to run the first time. People don't even know that, but Joe Biden wanted to run during the time Hillary Clinton ran. He was told not to by Obama. And Obama didn't support him until the very end, until Elizabeth Warren dominated, and Joe Biden didn't. And Obama didn't at that time want a woman to run for the president. Said it had to be a VP first. He had it all planned out. He is the commander-in-chief that's claiming that someone else out here is stealing. It's absolutely disgusting.
Want to ever watch that with my kids again?
This wasn't George Clooney.
What do you mean?
It just wasn't. Come on.
Who do you think it was? Matt Damon?
It was not Matt Damon.
Who do you think it was?
It wasn't Julia Roberts either.
Who do you think it was? You can say the name. You won't melt. It's not Voldemort. Are you saying you think Barack Obama put him up to this?
I think that Barack Obama has a lot of influence, and I think that there's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There is a lot there,
And
Willie.
I'll tell you, there are two people in this picture, and one has had a presidency that was absolutely, undeniably historic.
Yeah. Well, I think you have two people that had extraordinarily
I'm sorry,
presidencies.
historic in terms of legislative accomplishments.
Right. Well, like you say, and
They're both historic.
And they're both historic. And Barack Obama,
For sure.
Affordable Care Act, not George Clooney. He probably said it too, Willie, but Joe Biden actually whispered that was a big
Deal.
effing deal.
He's a thief.
So yeah,
He's a thief. He's a thief. That these people, their projection is absolutely insane. And has anyone noticed that Negroes haven't been listening to Obama ever since he told black men what to do? Man, it's like black people as a whole just logged off and not listening to this guy no more. We are witnessing the fall of Obama. I'm being honest. I want you guys to comment below. How many of you even knew about this until I made a post? I wouldn't be surprised if over 80% of the people that comment will say, I didn't even know Obama had anything to say. The only one that doesn't realize he isn't relevant anymore is him. It's over for him. He no longer holds the weight to where he can say something and mountains move. Because he's been caught in lie time and time again. And another thing, he can't sit here and say he represents the people when we see the powers that be protects him. With what happened with that chef at the end of the day, had it been another person, there would have been more data. I'm not accusing him of anything, but I'm simply saying that the data was hidden because of who he is. And the system is protecting him. Now, I know people would argue and say, well, he's a former president. That narrative can no longer be used since Trump was vilified the way he was. Raiding his house, attacking his children, attacking his legacy, giving him mugshots, giving him felony accounts. It's no longer on the table to sit here and discuss about how it's off the table to prosecute a president. Unfortunately, that's where we have gotten. And since that's where we are, we have to express the fact that Obama is the one that's the most deserving to face charges. This is the greatest threat in American freedom, is Barack Obama. This man is no longer president, and yet he has the ability to sway elections. If people don't find a problem with that, I don't know who does. Who wouldn't? And more importantly, it's a Negro. It's a black dude that is doing this. It's literally a black dude that has a great seat at the table of the deep state. So I don't really understand how the Democrat Party can claim racism, this and that. They let this nigga speak all the time. If America is really as racist as Democrats claim, why is Obama able to hold so much power? If America is really as racist as Democrats claim, why are Republicans afraid of Obama? Now, before you get to attacking me, we do have fear against Obama and Hillary Clinton because they're worthy opponents. There's not one Republican that I've seen call Obama stupid. They'll call AOC dumb. They might call Elizabeth Warren dumb. They don't call Obama dumb. They don't call Hillary Clinton dumb. They call them evil. They won't call them stupid because it's an inaccurate statement. He's very intelligent. And the thing about this, he has found a way to manipulate the masses into thinking, or used to manipulate the masses into thinking, that he was against the same system that protects him. There's a lot of information about Obama that wasn't released until after he was president. Larry Sinclair information, the fact that his wife wrote, look this stuff up, fact check me, his wife wrote a book claiming that he admitted to being gay to her and swept under the rug and was forced to marry Michelle Obama because he claimed the government wanted it to do so, along with members at his church, 2 black boys. Now, I can't go deeper than that, but their sexuality was pretty interesting, and their connection to Barry Soetoro was interesting, as well as his alleged membership at a homosexual club in Chicago. All the stuff I posted on my X profile, it's just too much out there that the system protected Obama with for him to ever claim that he's a man of the people, because the people are never reflected by the system, and the only person that we've seen the system go at as hard as the people is Trump, and that's why he won.
It's this question hangs over all conversations, Willie, not just here,
Willie,
but with senators and everybody else, about those of us who have spent a lot of time talking to President Biden, who know President Biden, were stunned by what we saw a couple Thursdays ago. And so, okay, if that's a one-time thing,
yeah,
Great. But is it going to happen again? What caused it? So far, I think for most Democrats who are very concerned, there hasn't been an adequate explanation that helps them move along and say, okay, we're...
In case you guys forgot, this is actually when Obama had manipulated Clooney to push Biden off after this fundraiser. So this was one of the greatest fundraisers in Democrat history. And they reported it as a massive success, except the momentum for Biden went nowhere. And it was at this moment that Obama decided to do the same thing with the elections that he has accused Republicans of. During the elections. You notice as Obama is the one that's walking him off, it's almost as if the Undertaker is. It's not a good look.
We've got 20 million people who got involved in the campaign or close to it. We have 4 million people who actively
You have to look at this.
contributed to the campaign in $5 and $10 and $25 increments. Now, a sizable portion of those just wanted dinner with George Clooney, but I think there was a large number of them that believed in our vision for the future.
He's been swaying what appears to be what they claiming for a very long time. I'm trying to figure out what the difference is between Barack Hussein Obama and the statement that he made earlier today, claiming that we're trying to sway elections. Because to me, it appears that he's using his celebrity stardom, his friends, and all of his connections in an attempt to sway the elections. Is it a stretch to say that Barack is the greatest threat to Americans since the terrorists of 9/11? I don't think it's a stretch, because he's someone that still holds a significant amount of weight in our political structure. He's someone that holds a significant amount of weight in our policy decision making. I also find it odd that the leaders of the world are still going out to meet with Obama, and vice versa, that he's going out to meet with them. About 6 months ago, what was it? The Prime Minister of Britain had a meeting with Obama up in the UK specifically, where he flew out to meet with them. And Obama has met with many, many, many of our allies over these past few years. My only question to America is, when will we hold him accountable the same way that Trump was, quote unquote, held accountable? When will he be given the same type of accountability that Trump had to get, which he wasn't accountable for? It was complete propaganda on how they hit Donald Trump, and everyone knows it. But my question is, when will we finally look at the monster for what he is and go after Barack Hussein Obama? He is able to constantly spew hate. He is able to constantly divide our nation. He is able to constantly live without any repercussions for who he is. When is enough enough? I'm thinking now. I think when President Trump gets sworn in, one of the first things he should do is hold almost called Donald Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, accountable. Because the amount of hate and division that he's created in this country will last for over a decade. To this point, you wouldn't have the problem with the George Floyds. You wouldn't have the problem with the Mike Browns. You wouldn't have the problem with the Trayvon Martins if you didn't have Barack Obama. If there's anyone that swayed our elections, if there's anyone that swayed the opinions of everyone, if there's anyone that has made it to where whites and blacks are at each other's necks and can't even understand why, because it's been happening for so long, you got to understand. They say in a war, it can go on for so long that the soldiers that's in the battlefield that's watching their brethren die actually forget why they're fighting. And that's what we reached, because this war has been going on for so long, and that's what happens when a war starts around 2008 and 2009. I believe This next presidency is going to be what we've been waiting on for a long time, to end the reign of Obama officially. And I think we'll be better for it. But I'm here to say that I cannot rest until the day Barack Hussein Obama, or Barry Soetoro, which name that you prefer, is held accountable for his crimes against humanity, the United States of America, and most importantly, the taxpayers that live in it. Obviously, my camera has died on me, which is pretty embarrassing. So please like, comment, subscribe if you're able to, and click the notification bell to stay updated on my next post. I hope this doesn't hurt my video, but it seems my camera died on me while mid-screen. So, yes, please click the information. See you on the next video, and I'll make sure this doesn't happen again. I'm still a struggling YouTuber. Obviously, it seems.